So I like to have a blanket on the chair so that my knees, the back of my knees have a nice soft place to be. I also like to, we don't use a headward blanket when we're in this inversion. This is a very mild inversion. And so I like to use that blanket at the base of this chair to rest my sacrum on. And again, if you have glaucoma or high blood pressure, that would not be an indication for you to do this. You would just do it flat on the floor. And in that case, if the pelvis isn't elevated on a blanket, you could have the head resting on a blanket. So there's no like beautiful and glorious way to get up in this position. So just go for it. So I like to have my hips directly below the knees. Like, as I said, the knees are comfortable and supported there. The placement of the blanket under the sacrum is so that the entire sacrum is supported there. You don't want it up towards the rib cage because that would give you that kind of overarch. This helps you to have that neutral nutation in the sacrum and lower spine that's more comfortable and helpful. And then just notice how comfortable you're feeling here. The feet are with the toes pointing upward. I like to take another blanket, if I have one handy, and place that over the low belly to give some weight there and to remind the psoas muscles that they don't have to work to hold me up. If you have the little weighted cushions that are filled, they're like filled with rice, I think. You could use those also on the low belly and hips to give some additional release there as well. And then we'll just place our hands out at a gentle Y with the palms up or down, whichever is most comfortable for you today. And just begin to breathe at your own natural rhythm. Noticing how energized the body is and how open those meridians and energy flows are feeling. Can you feel the energy flowing down through the lower legs, over the knees, and down through the femur bones and the thighs, and kind of pooling into the pelvis, almost as though it was a waterfall of energy flowing through your body, almost through the bones, and pooling in a gentle, filling of that pelvic bowl. And as every breath you take pumps the air through the body, the oxygen through the bloodstream, circulating throughout the whole system. Can you feel that ripple of the diaphragm? In this position, the diaphragm has to work a little bit harder to climb towards the pelvis. And if you have a blanket or weights on the front of the pelvis, it gives it even a little more resistance to work toward. But as the diaphragm does this, it massages those upper fibers of the psoas muscle, allowing it to relax even more. So maybe you begin to feel that waterfall Relaxing the psoas and allowing it to just kind of swim through the pelvis and through the low back. Like it's just floating in a bowl of water. And allowing that bowl of water or pelvic bowl full of energy to now gently stream through the spine and through the back muscles, through the rib cage and the chest, and into the head, into the throat. Now maybe it's pooling at the back of the skull and the dome of the skull, the cranial dome. And as you begin to feel full in the chest and upper back and head, maybe that continues to flow down the arms into the hands. Every breath, washing away the tension and revitalizing your circulation, your nerves, the fascia, muscles, and even the bones. And then deepening the breath and bringing our focus back to our fingers and toes. Beginning to make some small movements in the body. Fluttering the eyes open if they have been closed. And removing any weights or blankets that you've had on the pelvis. And then rolling to one side. Pressing up with one hand. And coming back to our seated position that we started in. Bringing the palms together at the heart. And just feeling the sits bones here, connecting with the blanket or the mat. Grounding yourself again and finding your center. Feeling the breath moving through the ribs. And just taking a moment to notice how you're doing, how this practice affected your body, how it affected your breath, how it affected your emotions, how it affected the mind. And I thank all of you for practicing again with me today, and also for practicing with me for the last 6 weeks. Namaste.